Hey everyone, how you going? Welcome to today's workout, beginner green level workout. So we've got a few movements here. If you want to skip straight to the workout, check in the description below. There should be a link to the workout. Otherwise, let's have a look at the movements we're doing and follow along with me now for the tutorial. The first movement that we have today is the glute kickback. So this one you can do in a number of different ways. You can actually do it on the floor. We're gonna do this one standing today. So what I'd like you to do is find something you can lean up against, a doorway or a post or whatever you have close by, even a wall. And we're gonna start by alternating our legs. Holding up against this one for balance. We're gonna kick one leg back, holding and back to the normal. Kick it back to return. Now, with the kickback, what I want you to focus on is the glutes. So the glutes, your butt cheeks. If you feel it in your lower back, if you feel the muscles here working to raise that up, then I want you to stop, shake it off, and have a rethink. Pause the video if you're watching on YouTube. What you want to be feeling is the actual butt cheek engaging. And a really good way to gauge that is by popping your hand just here, just on your hip. Kick that leg back and you should feel the big muscles start to engage there. So the movement here is about activating the glutes, and the glutes are very, very important for back pain, for all sorts of things, all the loading that you're doing when you're doing lifting, and just really good core strength. So take a note with this one. If you start doing it and you start feeling your lower back, just pause the video, shake it off, and then resume again. So they can sometimes be a little bit tricky to get right the first few times. So the next movement we got is a sumo squat. When I ask people to squat for the first time, if you're a beginner, I know a lot of people will stand like this and then try and sit down. The biggest thing that helps out with new people learning to squat is actually just to spread your feet a little bit. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to sumo squats, which are purposefully very, very wide feet. The rules to follow when you are squatting with wide feet is that you want your knees to point in the same direction as your toes. What do I mean by that? When we're close by here, your toes are very close to parallel. They're pointing out maybe about 5 degrees. When you go out wider, see how my toes actually point out a little bit wider as well? And the reason for that is that when I bend my knees, you can see the direction that my knees bend in go over the top of my toes. So what I don't want to see is this. So you see that? When you see how it's making my foot flex in the wrong direction, I need to have the toes pointing out in the same direction that the knees bend in. So a sumo squat is feet about 1.5 to 2 times your shoulder width. Push your butt back, keep your torso upright though, and try and get those fingertips towards the floor, okay? So you don't need to go super low. It would be really good if you can actually get your fingertips onto the floor there, but I just want you to focus on the muscles being used here. Here's a shot from the side. In trying to keep your head and your chest upright as much as possible. You're gonna feel that one in the adductors, so in the groin muscles there. So the next movement is the bear crawl. A bear crawl you do need a little bit of space for, but you can do this with minimal. I've got about 3 meters that I can travel here. We're gonna pop down onto our hands and our knees. You're gonna lift your knees up off the floor, so now you're just with your hands and your toes. And as you crawl forward, left hand, right foot, right hand, left foot, contralateral, but look at my back and my hips. I'm pretending I've got a bucket of water on my back and I'm holding it from spilling. So this pace here is perfect. You're gonna keep your knees about 2 inches from the floor. Don't let them rise around like this. That's wrong. This is wrong. Okay? Keeping your knees very, very close to the floor. And hopefully you're gonna start to feel your core engage, your core contract there. And that's gonna help you hold stable as you move back and forward. After a bear crawl, we have calf raises. Now, calf raises you can do in a number of ways. We could go back to our post for balance, if you need the balance. Otherwise, you can just stand. You don't need a platform. I know a lot of people will work with a platform, but as a beginner, you don't need to have that deficit. We can literally stand here, raise, hold, down, raise, and down. So the thing with this is that we need to be thinking about balancing. So up, balance, down, up, balance, down. So the reason I've got this included as part of the beginner is because the balance is what we want to be working on. Really contracting those muscles and balancing. Okay, after the calf raises, we have kick sits. Now I know what you might be thinking. I've heard of these. I've heard of these fabled kick sits. Aren't they one of the advanced level movements? Yes. But as a beginner, what I'd like you to do is start to learn some movements. Start to learn how we get into them. So I'm not gonna ask you to do 15 of these in 10 seconds. What we are gonna do though, is pop back into that bear crawl position. So from here, it's also called the panther position, where we actually have our knees off the floor, we're on our toes in our hands. From here, the kick sit, we're gonna take our left foot and we're gonna kick it to the right, across and sit down on our hip. So you see the twisting motion. See how I've got both of my hands on the floor here? Bring it back up and across. So we're gonna do this nice and slowly. I'm gonna take this at a beginner's pace, so you can just feel the motion, feel the mobility required to kick it across and sit. Big deep breath in, back to the middle, sit across. So you see, if we get a little bit more advanced, if we get a little bit more into this one, you can actually really start to pick up the pace. It's a little bit like jogging on the spot, okay? This would be the beginner's level, and then you can start to speed it up. With the kick sits, I don't want you to be going full advanced mode just yet, but we all have to learn to walk before we run. So beginners, we're gonna take it at a nice, easy pace. Really, really good core control with that movement. After kick sits, we have good mornings, favorite. Standing with our feet about shoulder width apart, hinging at the hips, straight legs, straight upper body. You're bowing down, getting a nice tension in the hamstrings and the glutes, engaging the glutes, pressing forward. Very, very simple movement, but very, very effective. After good mornings, we have Cossack Squats. Goth Martha Stewart's favorite. So we're gonna go back into the wide feet, okay? So the wide feet as if we were doing a sumo squat, but instead, what we're gonna do, squat down on one side, keeping the other leg nice and straight, but the heel flat on the floor. So there. So as a beginner, you don't need to go down too far. We're just gonna build that single leg strength in order to get down and then up, down, and then up. Good, whoops. After Cossack squats, toe taps. So these are crab toe taps. We're gonna pop down onto the floor, hands, feet, hips up, and we're gonna alternate touching the feet with the contralateral hand. So right hand taps left foot, left hand taps right foot, and repeat. So you see, we're again playing with balance and core control. We're going from 4 points of contact down to 2 points of contact, balancing at the same time, kicking up, keeping our glutes engaged to keep our butts up off the floor there. After toe taps, we've got drinky birds. We're taking the muscles that we use in the good mornings, and we're gonna turn them into a single leg hinge. So if we're doing the left leg, the right leg is gonna go back behind me. I'm gonna bend forward like one of those drinky birds, and then up. So it's hinging. We're gonna control ourselves with good balance here. We're gonna keep it with one leg. So we're doing an even number of repetitions or an even number of sets. You're gonna remain on one leg and then on the next set, alternate. And you see how with my left hand touching the right foot, we've got that contralateral thing going on again. So left leg goes back, left hand touches the right foot and up. Nice neutral spine, nice hip hinge with that one. After drinky birds, we've got a crab hold. So it's similar to the toe touch, feet and hands, but we're just gonna hold this for a time period. And you're gonna make a nice coffee table that doesn't have a bend in the middle. And the last movement, I promised this one earlier, we got the duck walks. So a duck walk is down in the horse position, but we're gonna go laterally. So at the bottom of a squat, we're gonna walk left and then walk right. There we go, cool. So, they're the movements. We're gonna kick into the workout now. It's a 37-minute workout, so get your watches on, get your towels. The duck walks again, yes. So here we go. In 20 seconds time, you're gonna press start on your watch. You're gonna get ready for these glute kickbacks. So remember, the glute kickbacks, we're gonna find a wall or something that you need to lean up against. You're gonna keep your torso upright. We're gonna alternate, by the way, left and then right with these guys. So I'm gonna lean up against here. See how I'm standing up nice and straight, okay? Waiting for the beep. I'm not bending. So I don't want the bend in my torso. I wanna be up straight, lift that leg, kick it back. Other side, kick it back. Remember, it's all about that glute. So you don't wanna be twisting like this. Try and keep your feet both parallel to each other. And if you need to figure out if you're using the actual glute, just pop your hand on your hip there and you should feel the glute muscle engage, like that. Good, good, good. So just a couple of those things, couple of movements there. That's a really, really good movement as well if you are setting up for a squat day or if you're setting up for a deadlift day, just to remind your body how to activate the right muscles for those ones. Glutes, very, very important. Hey, we got the sumo squats here. So now remember the sumo squats. We're gonna set up in our regular squat position, but then we're gonna go a bit wider, but as we go wider, you're pointing those toes out. So don't go full depth just yet, not in this first round. I just want you to squat down and up, down and up. So you're bending the knees and you should hopefully feel it a lot in the adductors here. Have a look at the form from the side. So trying to keep my torso as upright as possible. My heels are flat on the floor. I'm trying to not rotate my feet so much. That's a good cue. If you find your feet rolling out, rotating, just shift what angle they're at and bop it up again. Your feet, with all types of squats and all types of lifts, to be honest, your feet should feel like they've got a tripod. One under the big toe, one under the little toe, one under the heel, and that tripod should be holding you stable on the floor. And you should be using your toes to claw into the ground. If you feel like your toes are lifting up, you need to work on some form, work on some balance there. Okay, we got bear crawls to do. So starting off with a forward bear crawl, you just go as far as you need to. If you've only got 2 meters, just work your way up, nice and slowly to begin with. Make this smooth and then return. But focus on the shoulders and the hips. Keep the shoulders and the hips flat. I want you to look mechanical. I want you to look like you're on rails here and that you're a robot. I want your breathing to be the opposite of that though. I want you to feel like you can breathe as naturally as an animal, but you want to look like a mechanical robot as you move around. So how did you all go with that? Bear crawls are an interesting one. They look quite innocent, they look quite calm, but they actually take a bit out of you. You heard me when I was doing the tutorial there. As soon as I got up from the bear crawl, I'm breathing heavily. Okay, the calf raises. I'm gonna pop over here just to have a little bit of support. They are definitely harder than they look, 100%. Okay, here we go. Up, down. So with a calf raise, it's as much about time under tension as it is about balance or how much weight you're pushing. So it's much more impressive to see someone hold a calf raise for 5 seconds than it is to have 50 kilos on your back and to do a calf raise. So if you need that balance to hold it for a second or two, just hold onto a post, hold onto a wall, hold onto a door frame. And there's our first round. Yeah, Fryer, the bear crawls, harder than you thought it would be. Good, good. So that's all about your core activation. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people that are learning, they do have trouble with some of the more advanced movements, is because they're not learning how to activate their cores first, and the bear crawl is fantastic for that. Okay, glute kickbacks, we're going back into it. So I'm gonna jump over here. We got repetitions of all this. As a beginner, oops, I was gonna hold both. Here you go. Kick and down, kick and down. So again, I'm trying to take notice of my lower back. They're definitely not the lower back muscles that are being activated now. It's the glute. I want the glute working. My torso is upright. I'm not leaning forward, standing up nice and straight. Kick it back. You sometimes see people do this at a gym with a band. That's good. If you can do this with a band, yeah, you get a little bit more force on those glutes, but to be honest, when you're starting, just learning to lift the weight of your own leg is fantastic. You want to become a master of your own body weight before you start adding your apparatus in, because if you can control your own body, then yes, you've got a good solid foundation to start moving things with weights. So sumo squats, back into it. I'm gonna go from the side. So remember the width. With a good sumo squat as well, I'll go deeper into the cues now. When I'm at the bottom of a sumo, what I'm aiming for is having my shins vertical. So that's gonna give me the exact width of where my feet need to be. Because if I'm out here like this, you can see at the bottom, they're not vertical. So I'm gonna move them in until I get vertical shins when I'm at the bottom of this squat. So then you'll learn it. Over time, as you start to do more and more reps, you start to just feel where your body needs to be for certain positions. Good, nice. So again, we're not trying to go for a high heart rate today. We're not trying to get you sweating too much or really just have you on the ground in a heap of cardio hell. We don't want that today. We want to work on foundations today. We've got the bear crawl again. Sounds like everyone's having fun with this one, so I'd encourage you all to pop down onto the ground now. If you're watching at home, if you're just skimming through a YouTube video, give this a shot. Okay, hands and knees and toes. Lift the knees off the floor. Keep the knees 2 inches from the ground at any given point in time. Contralateral hand and foot movement, and then reverse. The reverse is the tricky one, isn't it? Reverse bear crawls are tough. Don't go any faster than what I'm going. And keeping the hips and the shoulders as flat as possible. Just imagine a stack of pizzas on your back. You don't want to drop the pizzas, otherwise the kids will be angry. There you go, good. How's that? Core control, glute control, shoulder control with that one as well. Very, very good. Okay, after that, we've now got the calf raises again. So I'm gonna step away from this. I'm gonna do some calf raises now, just on the floor here, okay? So I'm gonna try and fight for balance. I'm gonna go side on, just so you can see how I'm standing upright. I'm gonna try and balance as much as we can. Hold it for a second and down. So up, hold it for a second, down. Just standing up on the end of the toes like that, just tiptoeing, can actually be quite difficult. So we're not just working the calves here, we're also working our stabilizers. If you can brace the core when you're doing a calf raise as well, that's gonna help with your balance. It's better than having a floppy upper body, because if you do that, you lose balance if your core isn't braced. So work on that too. The balancing makes it hard. It feels very unnatural to bear walk like that. Yeah, Fryer. So sometimes sometimes what feels unnatural is gonna be working things in a natural way, if that makes sense. I think our idea of natural these days has been skewed. So yeah, you do wanna activate as much as you can in that unnatural fashion, because then it makes everything else feel a little bit more natural. So glute kickbacks, again, over here, standing up nice and straight. Remember the cues. It's the glute, it's not the back. Don't let the hip rotate. So we're gonna square our hips away. Whatever you're holding onto, perpendicular or facing directly at that area. So don't let the hips rotate. Very important. It's just the glute. Put your hand here on the hip, just above your butt, and you'll feel that butt cheek engage. Good, 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 good. All right, sumo squats again. Repetition's very important at this beginner level. Just doing the same thing over and over and over again, and checking the form every single time. So that's why I will be repeating myself a lot during this workout. So wide feet. Remember, it's as wide as they need to be so that they're vertical at the bottom of that squat. You don't need to get the fingertips on the floor. Just drop down as much as you can. Ready? 2, 1, down. Keeping the upper body upright. So head and chest remain upright. We're pushing those knees out. You got the power coming from the quads, the glutes, and the adductors in your groin here. From the side, just think about how you look when you're doing these. Down, up. So hopefully these are a little bit uncomfortable, because like I said, a lot of people when they are learning to squat, the first time I ask someone to squat, they don't really know what they're doing, and they'll kind of have like this, and they'll try and do this sort of thing. Sometimes when people can't get that low, their heels will come off the ground and they think, oh man, I just can't squat. It's not usually the case. It's just because you're out of practice and you're not learning. You're not learning to move with your own body, and sometimes you need to be a little bit wider in order to get that hip mobility. So sumo squats are good. You finding them good, Cannonade? Awesome. Let's get back into the bear crawl. So nice and slow. This is not a race. Keeping the knees pretty close to the floor, returning, coming backwards. Flat back, flat shoulders, flat hips. bracing the core. Fantastic. Keep going, team. You got this. Balancing on one hand and one foot. Very, very tough. Well done. Okay, calf raises. What we're gonna do for this last one, this last set of calf raises, I want you to follow my tempo, okay? We're gonna go holds at the beginning, and then for the last 10 seconds, we're gonna go double time. So, work with me here. 10 more seconds rest. Just gather yourself, get your balance ready. If you need to hold onto a wall for these still, go for it. No stress. Let's go. So go up, hold it for a second, down, up, hold, down. Give it that hold. The time under tension, very, very important with these. Down. So 20 seconds. Follow my tempo. Down, up, hold, and down. 2, 1, double time. Let's go. Up, up, up. Go in time with the music. Bang. Go. Did you feel that burn right at the end there? That wasn't huge, but when you start to get better and better at those ones, it starts to get a bit of a burn up here. And when you go longer and longer and longer, you start to feel it up your hamstring. Yeah, squatting is all leverages in physics. No one is built identical. Correct. So that's what I mean, what Makalito is saying there. Exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to people learning what their leverages are. And when I ask someone to squat for the first time, they'll often bring to mind something they've seen on Instagram or whatever. They'll go, oh, this is what it looks like. This is what a squat looks like. And so sometimes when I ask people, have you deadlifted before? And they'll show me this thing because they see a lot of sumo deadlifts on Instagram. That's not incorrect. That's not the worst thing. So yeah, it's all about what works for you. So we're gonna figure out what that is a lot of the time. Okay, we're gonna start with our kick sits here. I just need to fix my shorts before we get into the kick sits. Okay, so Martha Stewart, I don't know if you've tried these ones. You've probably seen them in the intermediate, in the advanced ones. We're gonna do these very slow. It's almost like a deconstructed plate of food, okay? We're gonna take this taco and we're gonna separate each bit. I'm gonna show you what goes into it. So we're in this panther position, the start of a bear crawl. We're gonna take our left foot, kick it out to the side, rotate the core. See how my elbow and my knee rotates? So my elbow is pointing out that way. My right knee is pointing to the ceiling, keeping both hands flat. We're gonna bring that leg back, return. Kick across, sit, and return. So nice and slow. This is the tempo that I want you to go at. Kick it across, sit, bring it back up in the middle. Kick across, sit, in the middle. Don't worry about going any faster than this. Just rotate your core. Get that back leg, that back knee pointed towards the ceiling. Okay, yes. So goth, it's like learning how to drum. You'd never pick up a Slipknot song at full tempo and go, yeah, I'm gonna teach myself these fills. No, it's not gonna work. You slow it down. We go, learn the paradiddles first. Right, left, 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 right, right. Okay? And then you go slow, and speed it up. Good mornings, let's go. Okay, we're gonna brace that core. Exactly what we did with the glute kickbacks, but we're gonna now lean forward, feel the tightness in the hamstring and in the glutes, and then use that tightness as an elastic band to push the hips forward. Hey, Burner Bear, thanks for that resub. We appreciate that. So speaking of, if you're watching on YouTube and you like this content, hit subscribe. We love that. If you're watching on Twitch and you're getting value from these free workouts, think about subscribing too, because what that means is you get ad-free viewing and the best emotes on Twitch. Our second best. Grace's are probably better. I think mine are second best. How you going? Hate is a strong word, but what you mean is that there's plenty of room to improve. Oh, what did I say? What did I say? Did I say, oh, sorry, Goth Martha Stewart hates them. Yeah, no, here we go. Cossack squats. So Goth Martha Stewart, remember, I remember you like these ones. I'm gonna go like a 3/4 angle there, quarter angle. So, wide feet. We're gonna keep one heel on the floor. Down and up. Down and up. So that straight leg, the heel is down and the toes pointed towards the ceiling. and then we're gonna go up. So now a lot of power in this single leg. This is a really, really good way to learn the strength to, you know what, one day you're gonna think about pistol squats. One day you're gonna think about single leg pistol squats. And you're gonna think about how much you enjoy doing Cossack squats, because not only did they improve your hip mobility, but they improve that single leg strength. And not just pistol squats, right? You gotta think about, okay, I wanna go for a hike. Hiking is all about using a single leg at a time, right? To climb up things, climbing stairs, single leg strength. So that single leg strength helps with so many things outside of just the gym, right? Toe taps. So we're gonna sit down, get down your butt. We're gonna lift that butt up, and now we're gonna, again, there's a lot of balancing today. Balance on a hand and a foot, tap. Balance on a hand and a foot, tap. So a lot of shoulder strength and stability. Squeezing the butt to get the hips up away from the floor, and tap. So balance and tap. Nice. Keep breathing as you do this. Nice slow pace, because we're working on muscle coordination right now. I don't want you burning. I don't want you feeling like you've gone full catabolic. You've gone full, I can't breathe, Jeff. Don't feel like that. If you are feeling like that, slow it down, pace it down a bit, take a bit of a longer break, hit pause if you need to, get back into it. So we're gonna do these kick sits again. Now these are challenging. I don't want you feeling like they're a cardio challenge right now. I just like you to feel getting loose. Number one thing that I see people do wrong with these is they don't rotate at the shoulders and they don't rotate at the core. Sometimes people try and do this. Like sometimes people are just trying to stay in like this top push-up position. So really think about rotating at the shoulder, rotate at the core, kick across. This has come from a type of workout called zoo, or a type of methodology, which uses a lot of animal movements. We're thinking about becoming primal. We want to move like animals. We want to move like the natural world. So you want to move your shoulders like this, right? Move it around. Hey, Uxasito, thanks for following. How you going? So that's what I want you to think about. Think about like real primal, natural jungle movements with that one. And good mornings. How do you feel with them, by the way? Check in with me, Martha Stewart. How do you feel with those slow, deconstructed kick sets? So good mornings from the side again. Notice my back is in a natural arch, kicking forward. I'm trying to keep my legs straight, but I don't have the best hamstring flexibility. So it's okay to have a bit of a bend in the knees. It's fine to have a soft bend, as long as the muscles that you're using to raise yourself up are the hamstrings and the glutes, and you're squeezing your butt at the top to push those hips forward into full extension. Nice. If there's a movement today that you're gonna feel, if this is your first workout, it's gonna be those. It's gonna be the good mornings, because hopefully you're getting a nice dynamic stretch on the hamstrings. And the dynamic stretches, remember what that means. It means that we're following the stretch up with a moving contraction, and we're contracting the muscles in the other side, in the other way. So very, very good to learn how to warm up, very, very good to learn how to move your body. And very good to do before a workout. So that's why these green workouts are really good for advanced people, if you want to go do a lifting session afterwards. So now, really, really wide feet, similar to if we're doing a sumo squat, probably a little bit wider than a sumo squat, to be honest, because we're going to go down and up. Focus on your single leg strength. You can do one side, but the other side goes to poop. Do you think you can identify what's causing it to turn wrong, Martha Stewart? If you want as well, take a video of you doing about 5 or 6 reps and either put it into the form check in the Discord. If you don't want it to be public though, send it to me privately. You know that I don't share because client trainer confidentiality. And I can let you know, because sometimes it's something as simple as, you know what? Maybe one shoulder is less mobile than the other, or maybe one hip is a bit less mobile than the other. And we can figure that out if you want. Up to you. So I'll leave that to you if you wanna do that. Go, toe taps, let's go. Kick the hips up. We're gonna go tap. I'd like you to slow these down, because what I want you to focus on is being balanced. So if you can go kick and then nice slow return, kick, nice slow return. There you go. Kick and return. Kick and return. Good. Good control. Yeah, yeah. All right. I just got your message, Grace. Not sure if you're there. That's cool. We can do that. Okay, kick sits. Let's go. What's tomorrow? Tuesday. I've got a few changes to make this week, by the way, for stream times. Let's go kick sits. I'll talk about it after this workout. Kick and the middle. Kick, middle. Kick. I want you to feel nice and natural. You should almost feel relaxed at this bottom portion because your hip's on the floor, your leg is basically sitting on the floor there. Time your breathing. Across, kick, bring it up. Across, kick, bring that back. Nice, good, 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 good. Good mornings again. We have 15 minutes remaining of this. Woo. Hey, Maddie, how you going? Thank you. Getting after it, let's do it. Okay, 15 more seconds and we got our good mornings. Welcome in, we're doing our beginner level today, the green workout. Here we go. We're going to hinge at the hips. We're gonna make a number 7. What's number 7? This way, 7. Okay, hinging, using our glutes and our hamstrings, bring it back up. This hip hinge, this motion here, the good morning, really, really good to warm up for deadlifts, really, really good to warm up for kettlebell swings, great to warm up for anything that involves glute and core bracing, hammies. So RDLs, Romanian deadlifts are actually just a weighted good morning, to be honest. You're gonna be holding a barbell in your hands. Nice. So yeah, translate every lift. Good mornings are good for every lift. Even your humble bench press, because you're learning to activate your glutes, and that's one of the key components to me increasing my own bench weight, was being able to activate my glutes. The traps is another story, but that's, you know what, if we can do some sort of routine which would help us to do the traps and the glutes, oof, oof. Okay, Cossack squats, love an RDL. Yeah, Romanian deadlifts. I love an RDL as long as people are activating what they need to do. As long as they're not doing them just because they're cool, which they are cool. Let's not mince words. But the RDL itself has a lot of, there are some major differences between a conventional deadlift or a sumo deadlift and a Romanian deadlift. Or another way of talking about them is stiff-legged deadlifts. So a lot more glute activation with that because that's where you're hinging from. The knees are doing a lot less work, so the quads are doing a lot less work. So lots of glutes. Glutes are great. Actually, that's a good t-shirt. Glutes are great. We'll do that one next. All right, toe taps. Okay, remember slow. So tap, bring it down nice and slowly. Tap, bring it down slow. Gonna hold it, nice and slow. Tap, control your form. Let's go. Tap, control. Up, and bring it down. Good. Tap, control. Nice. Good. Awesome. Okay, we got drinky birds. RDL is goated for hypertrophy. Crazy stretch on the hammies. Yeah. Some big words there, so we'll explain it for the beginners that are doing this. The hypertrophy is the process of growing the size in muscles. And in order to grow the size in muscles, you can do basically movements, anything that does mechanical stress on your tissues, on your muscles. But they found that one of the best ways to actually hit hypertrophy is to do eccentric loading. And eccentric is when you're actually putting a loading on a muscle that's getting longer. So you see that we've got our upper body here. or even when you're holding the barbell, you've got a lot of force being applied to a set of muscles that's becoming longer. So that's eccentric loading, and that's gonna help a lot for hypertrophy there. So you prefer a loaded good morning over an RDL because how much more work it has to do, the core has to do. Yeah, so the difference between that, a loaded good morning, is where you'd actually have the weight on the upper body. You'd have your weight up here. And so in order to actually prevent your core from crumbling or crumpling, you need to brace that core, and there's a lot more loading done there on the weighted good morning over an RDL. And that's one thing that you don't see a lot of. They can actually lead to a lot of issues if done wrong. Drinking birds, let's go. Actually, the most famous loaded good morning injury is Bruce Lee. So we're gonna do one leg at a time. Drinky bird. So this is almost like a single leg RDL, isn't it? It's a single leg good morning. We're gonna reach down. There we go. So the worst part about this and what people have the most trouble with is the balance. And that's what I'd like you to challenge. Try and challenge your balance. If you do have problems balancing whilst you're doing those, you might wanna, if you can look out a window, look out to something in the distance. That does help with balance. But the other thing is just practice. It's just practice. So I'm gonna go front on now. I'm gonna be using my left leg. That's gonna remain standing. My right leg's gonna come off the floor. And my goal with this today is to try and not let my right leg touch the floor, my right foot touch the floor. Now that it's off, it's off. We're gonna do that good morning, or we're gonna do that drinky bird. Bring it up, see it still doesn't touch the floor. Whoop, balance. If you need to, breathe in. You see how much more stable that one was? Nice, good. A fingertip on the wall will also add just enough stabilization. True. Just like this, just like this. Just a fingertip, just to hold it up. You're still doing the work. You're still doing the work in being able to hinge up, but just helping your balance just a tiny little bit. Yeah, I like that, that's good. Okay, we got crab holes to do. We'll pop down on the floor here. We've got 10 minutes left in this workout, crew. How's that? Good stuff. Okay, push it up. Press up, hold. You want a coffee table at this point, so push your hips up higher. Every time you think to yourself, oh, how are my hips? Just squeeze the butt more. Because every couple of seconds, especially as a new person, you're gonna find that your hips just drop as you fatigue. Squeeze, push. You just wanna remind yourself constantly to squeeze the butt, push the hips up. Keep holding. Good. Burn a bear, is it the shoulders? Oftentimes it's the shoulders. The shoulders being in extension is yeah. So that's one thing to watch for. As a beginner, if you do find pain in the shoulders from holding your crab, we'll do it on this next round. I'll show you a regression that we can work with. Okay, here we go, duck walks. We're gonna pop down into the bottom of a squat. We're now gonna go laterally, keeping your upper body at the same elevation, at the same altitude. So you see this butt, I'm trying to not let my butt bounce around. I'm trying to keep my glutes or my quads parallel to the floor line. They're gonna remain completely horizontal. We're gonna walk left and right. So this is a really, really important set of muscles. It's not only the regular glutes, the glute max, we're working the medial glutes. Super important again. I think Marcolita will agree with me on this one. Most lifts. So we're talking about deadlifts and squats. When you see knees cave in like this, when someone's trying to lift a big, heavy load, that's oftentimes because the glute medius here not firing properly. So removing arms from it, the shoulders drive up the floor, the hips the same. Yep. Okay, here we go, drinky birds, let's go. Left leg this time. So I'm gonna start with my left, and then we'll shift to the right on this next round. So I'm gonna try and keep my right foot off the floor for this whole 30 seconds. Nice. So straight leg out behind me, hinging, using the glute and the hamstring on that left side, maintaining balance as best I can using my calves and my ankle stabilizers. Nice, shake it out. Yeah. Fryer, good. Good. I'm glad we're finding some stuff to challenge people here today. Jim, how you going? Did you know that Mortal Kombat is based on an old Scandinavian church song? Yes, a Finnish hymn. Ha, ha. Yes. All right, chat, here we go. We've got the right leg now to do. We're gonna kick that left leg back nice and straight. Left hand reaching down towards the right toe, tapping that. Ooh, balance. Good recovery, nice. Good. So also, stop talking, Jeff. Thinking about my foot being the tripod. Having my toes claw into the floor. I love these new shoes, by the way. The toe box is nice and large. I can really splay my toes, get good stabilization. Finish the rep. Good. I have a fear of German sausage. A phobia of German sausage. That's right, I fear the worst. Ah. There you go. Yeah. Good. Okay, crab hold. So we're gonna do the regression of the crab hold. This is for you, Burner Bear, and anyone else that feels shoulder pain when you're doing that shoulder extension. What you can do is actually remove the arms from it. Put them out to the sides, squeeze the butt, and push the hips up. So it isn't necessarily a coffee table right now, but what I do want to see is I want to see a Euclidean plane. I want to see something you can roll a ball down and come up with mathematical equations for the speed of that ball at the bottom of the incline. So push your hips up, I want to see a nice incline from the knees to my shoulders there. Good, and so what that does, that removes the shoulder extension from it, but it still does the glute and the hamstring activation that I'm looking for. So that's a really good regression there. Obviously, it would be good to try and figure out what is causing the pain in the shoulders, whether or not that's just a mobility thing where you can work on actually getting some extension in the shoulders. But if it's not going to be physically possible, that bridge, the hip bridge is a really good option. Okay, popping down. Come on, Fryer, we got this one. Second round. We're gonna try and keep the squat down as low as possible. I want your heels to be flat on the floor, okay? So try not to walk around on your toes. If you can, get those heels flat, bring the knees apart, bring the knees together. Apart and together, keeping the butt from bouncing too much. Keep it as flat as possible. You got 5 more seconds, come on, hold it, you got it. This is tough. Let's go, other way. Ooh. Good. Now I like to say, holding it for as long as you can, but as beginners, you're gonna find some things that you just can't hold. You're just physically not possible, it's not possible to do. And that's great, because at that point you can make a mental note, or even a physical note, on where your areas of opportunity are. The doggo used the rest of his That's funny. Oof. Okay, we're drinking breath, let's go. Yeah, shoulder pain is very hard to figure out. And that's one of those things where whenever someone asks me, hey, Jeff, I've got this shoulder pain, it hurts here, what do you think it is? My response is always, I don't know. I don't know, and I'm probably not gonna know unless you come see me and we also write you out a referral to a specialist, to a physiotherapist, or you go to your GP and get a referral for a physiotherapist, because there's a lot going on. Could be rotator cuff, it could be an impingement. They're two of the buzzwords that fly around with shoulders. Absolutely, it could be poor serratus stabilization. It could be winging scapula. It could be lots of things. So there's 4 things that it could be. It could be bursitis. There's 5 things. Okay, drinking birds. Let's go. And then when you're talking about the rotator cuff or the rotor cuff or however you want to name it, right? There's 4 muscles that I can think of. There's more than that. but there's 4 muscles that I can think, actually 5. There's your infraspinatus, supraspinatus, teres minor, teres major. There's the pec minor. That's a big one that people forget about as well. The pec minor is a huge proponent of shoulder pain. And then even things just like your delts, anterior delts, biceps. Tight biceps can actually lead to shoulder pain because that actually goes up and it joins onto the top of the humerus there. So there's lots and lots of things. Traps, tight traps as well, yes. Could be traps, could be lats. The lats that are maybe swinging your scapula out. So realistically, with shoulders, when it comes to shoulders, people, you want to see someone that can do one of 2 things or both. You want someone to get hands-on, so they can actually feel what's going on and they can feel both sides of your body. Sometimes you need to look at both shoulders to figure out what's going wrong with one shoulder because there might be an imbalance. Yeah, so there might be something wrong on one side that doesn't appear to be wrong until you look at the other side and see what the other side is doing. And then the second thing that you'll want a specialist to do is sometimes it may need like an ultrasound or a sonogram. And that'll help identify things like angry sacs of fluid. So if you've got a bursitis in the joint, inside the synovial joint, then that might need an ultrasound to identify. Okay, guess what? Martha Stewart, it's the last movement, so I want you to give everything that you've got with this one. I want you to pat the doggo. I want you to get the doggo to follow you back and forth with this one, because it's the duck walk, okay? So pop down, 3 seconds, 2, 1. Let's go, left and right, nice and slow. Do not speed it up. I know that it's really tempting to walk fast, because what happens is when you walk fast, you reduce the amount of time that you're in a state of tension. So I want you to go slower. When you think about going faster, slow it down. Slow, keep it going. You got 10 more seconds or just less. 5 seconds now. Holding. Keep going, slow it down. Get down lower. Good job. Bella, Nebraska, how you going? Nice. Well done, everyone. So that's great. Good stuff today. If you found that one super easy, then you could actually go maybe pop off to the gym or grab a barbell, do a lifting workout now, because you are activated. Your glutes are activated, your shoulders activated, your core's activated from all those movements we just did. Otherwise, next time we'll see you back again for another green level. Blues are a little bit more intense, purples are the most intense, and I am going to be working later today based on some feedback I did get in YouTube comments. I'm going to go through later today and update all the descriptions to include links to all 3 of those collections. So yeah, if you do have feedback for me on the YouTube videos, pop them in the comments below. If you've got questions about any of the movements, or maybe you want to have an evidence-based argument about something, I'm for it, because we're all about being perpetual students here and learning based on evidence that we find in the real world. So thank you so much. We'll catch you next time, or live on Twitch, twitch.tv/fit for purpose. See ya.